How many of you out there have ever experienced growing up with your narcissistic mother and or parents of the favorites game? And growing up, I kind of remember that like it was yesterday. And even to this day, my narcissistic mother lives her life through my golden child. Well, not my golden child, but her golden child daughter, the one I call Gold Digger number 1. And like I said, she was always the favorite. She always has been ever since she was a child. She always got more Christmas gifts, more than anybody else. Whatever she wanted, she got. And I even remember a particular time growing up, going to school with holy shoes and being made fun of by kids. And my dad would always get his VA money every month. And he always kept promising me, well, next month I'll buy a new pair of shoes. It was always next month, and that next month never ever came. Of course, my late father was the enabler. And I actually had to lie to get my first job because I got sick and tired of being made fun of by kids and going to school with hand-me-downs from my mother's twin daughters from her first marriage, which they also got the best of everything. They got to go to a private school. And the rest of us kids, me and Gold Digger number 1, my lard butt sister, and then Gold Digger number 2, us 3 daughters didn't get to go to private school, but my mother's twin daughters from her first marriage got to go to a private school. So anyway, remembering back, even before I even lied to get my first job, I remember there was this one store, it was called Lazarus. It was right downtown. And I would tag along, and she would take her twin daughters that when they came into this country and when my mom brought them here, they were 17 years old. I do remember that very vividly. And so, like I said, they got the best of everything, and they got to go to Lazarus. And like I said, I remember it while it was yesterday. And I would tag along, and I would see if I can get something because, hey, I was growing, I need clothes just as much as they did. And I remember, and this would be a couple times out of the month that she would take them, and I would tag along, and I would go along, and they would go and go where the clothing is, and they would sit there and they would like certain things and my mom would get it for them. And then I would find something that I like. And I say, Mom, I like this one. I like to have it. I need some clothes. And she would look at the price tag. She goes, well, that's too much. That's too expensive. Put it back. So then I said, okay, well, maybe if I find something cheaper, maybe something I like that's cheaper on the clearance rack, which I found something I like on the clearance rack, and I show it to her. And you know what? She flat out ignored me. And I remember it this clear as day. So when I got close enough to be 16, I was about 15 and a half at the time. And I lied to get my very first job. And it was at a fast food place. It was called Long John Silver's. And that's where I actually had met my husband-to-be at that time. That's the father of both of my daughters. And it felt good to get that job, because every single time I got paid, and luckily I got paid every week at the time, that I would buy clothes. I would go to Lazarus, 6th floor, final countdown, all the clearance stuff marked down, and I would buy clothes, and I'd buy shoes, sometimes from there, sometimes from Kmart or Gold Circle at the time. And by that time, I had at least almost 50 pairs of shoes. So I guess in some ways it kind of triggered some type of hoarding in a way, because basically I was deprived of things as a child. I was always getting my mother's twin daughters their hand-me-downs, which sometimes would have some of their the pants were frayed or got holes in them, and that's all I had prior to me lying to get my first job, because I wanted to work so bad and said I was 16, when really the way I looked at everything else, I passed for 16, and luckily they didn't check up on that, luckily. And so, like I said, it developed some type of hoarding mechanism within me. I mean, I was always buying clothes every single payday, buying jewelry, like costume jewelry, fashion jewelry, things of that nature. And so I want to know, have any of you ever experienced your narcissistic mother neglecting you of things that you really needed coming up as a child? I mean, of course, yes, she neglected to love me. Of course, we all know that narcissists don't love anybody but themselves. And the only so-called loved people that have a purpose for them, which right now, as long as I can remember now, since now my youngest sister, which is the golden child, the gold digger, that my mom lives her life through her. And like I said, she's also, her and her hubby's my mom's actual human ATM. Always will be. And so I'm just making this video, just reflecting. I mean, I've been watching videos, I've been watching videos like Ollie, and it just triggered an idea of sharing my experience. And sometimes I'd rather share it through a video than rather sit there and type in the comments underneath one of his videos. But one of I knew Ollie just recently made was something about the ignoring tactic of the narcissist. And so this is more like a response, or like sharing of my story, my personal experience of my narcissistic mother ignoring me coming up. And luckily, thank God, I never became a whore, but at that time I did, because I was trying to get things and make up for things that she couldn't do or didn't want to do. And all was well. I'm down now to about 203 pounds, so I've lost a total of 57 pounds. And I'm also happy to announce also that I have received my study material, so I can become certified to teach some classes at my gym. So I'm well on my way to pursuing my passion, as well as what God has called me to do, and that's to be in the fitness field. So I'm well on my way. And so I'd like to know if your personal story, please share with me and others here on this channel your personal story or personal experience of your narcissistic mother ignoring you. Whether it's coming up, growing up, or even as of now, if you're still somewhat in contact or low contact with your narcissistic mother. Please please share with me your story. This is Mary Allen, and I think the next video will be histrionic personality disorder versus narcissistic personality disorder. And in some ways, I know they're really quite a bit the same. And the reason why I want to make that video is because in one of the sessions when I used to see my therapist that I no longer see anymore, but when I did see her, and I think it might have been maybe the second or third session when I kind of brought up to her and telling her that my mom is a narcissist, and I recall my therapist saying, well, she may not be a narcissist, but more of a histrionic personality disorder, in which I can, of course, completely disagree about. But I'm going to do some further research on it before I do the next video, so stay tuned for that video coming up. I haven't been able to do any thing with the fitness channel and uploading any more videos yet. Just been really relatively busy with my job now, so I'm working 10-hour shifts, and 4 days out of the week. So been really and then on top of keeping up with my gym routines, been extremely busy. But I'm even going to be even more busier in studying my study materials I had to have so I can become certified, and then try to sign up for some CPR training so I can become CPR certified in the field that I'm going to be going into. So a lot going on. So I'll make videos when I can, but definitely the next video is definitely going to be about histrionic personality disorder versus narcissistic personality disorders, in which I think, from what I gather, and I've read some things about it, but I haven't thoroughly researched it yet, but from what I gather, I believe that they're both the same, because the symptoms are so similar. But the only thing I didn't see with histrionic personality disorder is the lack of empathy, which we all know falls in the narcissistic personality disorder column. So anyway, I'm going to do some more research before I actually do that video. I might be doing that video sometime this week. Don't know when, but all I could say is to stay tuned. And those of you that have recently subscribed to my channel, I welcome you with loving open arms. Thank you for subscribing. And many of you out there that's been subscribed, I thank you for watching. So stay tuned for the next video of histrionic personality disorder versus narcissistic personality disorder. I wish you love, and I wish you peace. Thank you. Take care. Bye for now.